United Way of Central Carolinas has just distributed a lot of money. And here to talk about that is Jane McIntyre. She's the head of the agency. $16.5 million to how many agencies?
84
agencies.
Counties.
In 5 counties. This year, you did it a little different in that you set criteria for the agencies that you're helping.
Right. And we've honestly used some of the criteria, but we've never fully written it out, had the board really discussed it, approved it, and then the volunteers knew about it, and the agencies knew about it.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty clear, we've operated under it, but this time we wrote it down and made it formal.
So some of them, to detail it, that the agencies had to serve people at risk.
Right.
And in poverty.
For 4 years we've been working on this to say you've got to serve those most in need.
Right.
You can be at risk and not be in poverty in some cases, but at risk or in poverty.
Okay.
The greatest number being, of course, in poverty.
And then stability.
Stability. You have to be financially stable. So when that gift comes from our donors, we're responsible for making certain that the agency is a stable, financially solid organization.
Did the establishment of this criteria cause the United Way to, rethink its commitment to some agencies?
It just made us be more careful. The volunteers, honestly, had been telling me all along, and they usually gave us a heads up, the volunteers, on ones that were in trouble. So we usually did address that on the front end, not on the back end. Yeah. But this year the volunteers actually took a hard look at what they'd been saying for a year or so.
So last year's fundraising campaign, how did it impact this year's giving?
This year there was last year there was shifting of dollars from some agencies to others, but we also had some close, we had some merged, so there was a little extra money to award to give more. This year there was really no extra money.
Right.
And so the volunteers had to take from some that weren't performing, maybe like they had asked, or maybe the need wasn't as great. They hadn't increased the number they were serving, whatever the issue was. And then it was then given where they felt the greatest need was.
And I'm not sure if it's recurring every year, but is there one overall need in the Charlotte area that you find is consistently in need of money?
I think there are a lot, but let me give you an example of one this year that is different.
Okay.
So Medicaid has changed its rules, evidently.
Right. Yeah.
And MedAssist also, the drug companies have changed some of their rules. So they didn't have as many prescription drugs to give away to those that were either underinsured or not insured enough to cover it. Yeah. So we have a lot of seniors that don't have enough to pay for their very expensive prescriptions. So they got a significant increase, but it was tied to changes.
Well, I know a lot of people look forward to, are appreciative, I should say, of the help that comes about via the United Way. So I'll give you a thank you from them. I want to also say that people should take a look at the latest issue of Charlotte Magazine, because there's a wonderful article in there about you and the work that you've done and rebuilding the image of the United Way of Central Carolina. So check that out if you have a chance.
Thank you. That was very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. That's our end of conversation for today. We'll be right back.